You are about to see the marketing management case presentation by Shyam Ramasamy about the New York Times Paywall case study. Let's see what a paywall is. A paywall is a system that prevents the internet users from accessing the newspapers or the magazines or the books web page content without a paid subscription. It has a couple of different ways of paywalling. One is the hard paywall, which allows a minimal or even no access to its contents without a subscription. A soft paywall is more flexible. It allows the users to view its contents. Maybe sometimes it is a selective free content or limited number of articles per month or sampling of several pages of a book or a paragraph of an article. So the users will have a little idea of what the book or the newspaper is carrying for that particular page. This allows the readers as an advertisement so they can subscribe for that book or the newspaper. So is paywall working for the newspapers now? No, it's not working. Not all newspapers are using paywall. So when one newspaper is charging for its contents and most of the others are not, then obviously the one that is charging for the customers are not going to succeed. We clearly see that the newspapers that do not have paywall have a very high traffic, which means they get a lot of advertisements, and the revenue from advertisements is really good. The newspapers with paywall, there is a marked drop in the traffic. So it clearly shows that the paywall is not working for the newspapers now. Now let's evaluate current New York Times paywall system with the two previous ones that failed. Let's look at the first experiment that New York Times did with the paywall system. They launched the website and started charging the overseas customers about $35 per month in 1996. This experiment was abandoned, and about 2 years later the company said that the interest in increased advertisement revenue was the cost of the shift. They also said that the internet usage overseas is growing at a faster pace than the domestic usage, and they were intended to build a franchise worldwide. So they were convinced that the advertisement support for the online market is increasing, and then so they thought that no registration model will work for them, so they abandoned their first experiment. The New York Times had their second experiment. They came around in September 2005 and began to charge their website, and they introduced the new paywall then. They named it Time Select, and they also priced it at $49.95 a year to access some of the very famous noted columns like Thomas Friedman, Nicholas Kristof, Paul Krugman. So if a reader has to access the columns from these columns, then they'll have to pay that $49.95 a year to access them. So they offered some discounts for college students and other selected readers, and notably it was free for all of its printed subscribers, and every other content in their website, NewYorkTimes.com, was still free for everybody except for those noted important columnists. After abandoning the second experiment in 2 years, again in 2011, New York Times visited back to the paywall system to get some revenue. After doing a lot of research, they decided to go with a device-specific and metered system for their new current paywall system. By that system, by this new system, it allowed the users to read 20 articles a month without paying. It's free. The limit 20 was chosen to draw in the subscription revenue from the most loyal readers who saw the value in the Times contents, while not driving away the casual visitors who made up the majority of the site's traffic. Even in this new system, the home page and and all sections first page was free for all users at all times. In the current paywall system, again for iPhone and iPad apps users, the top news, that's how the app read, was free. So it gave the headlines of all the top news, which was free. But if you want to go into the details of those top news or into the specific sections of the newspaper, then everything was behind the paywall and you got to be a subscriber to access it. The readers through Google were restricted to 5 articles per day limit and above the 20 monthly allotted articles. There was another thing, like from the social media, if you come into New York Times from Facebook or Twitter or any social media, they faced no limits as long as the articles were directly linked from these sources. So New York Times encouraged the social media to have a link of their article directly on their pages, so whenever any of their users click on that link, it takes them directly into the paper, and there was no limit for them. The Financial Times and the Wall Street journals had a different model in their paywall systems. They wanted all the readers to be subscribed readers. They did not have any free sections. If you are not a registered subscribed user, you get nothing. But New York Times paywall was suitably designed to encourage more casual users to come in to have a look at their front page. And a lot of contents were free, but yet if you want to go to some specific contents which they consider as very important contents, you have to be a subscriber. So my guess is like New York Times were suitably designed so that they can get some revenue out of the advertisement. So what was the newspaper's trouble? The invention of internet and the advent of different digital media itself was a big trouble for the newspapers. A lot of the information went through the digital media. It was quick and it was up to date and things like that, so readers liked it. Same with a website monster.com. You get all the job openings available, so it took away the job opening section of the newspaper. Similarly, the Craigslist took away the classified sections, so any online users will go to Craigslist and get more updated classified advertisements than to go back to the newspapers. Similarly, the car makers had their own websites and they began to advertise in their websites, online websites. So that took away the car advertisements that came on the paper. And similarly, the sports channel, so there were websites that were updating the scores and news online and current news. So the readers were not excited about the sports channel in the newspaper. So what was the New York Times goal for the paywall? They saw the subscription and revenues falling steadily over the years with the regular printed newspapers, and the advertisement revenues were down 6% in 2010 alone. Their profits were down 76% in 2011 after taking care of all the unwanted expenses. The cost of the editorial staffs, production and distributions remained constant. It is not going down with the subscription being down. So the new ways to reach the audience with its journalism, which is more important, is to go digital. So the new source of revenue is also from online advertising. So that was the goal for New York Times when they thought about the paywall system in 2011. Should the New York Times transition from print to digital media? Yes, they have to. The future of the media is going to be digital. New York Times, if they wish to survive, they should keep up with the changing modern way of communication to sell their journalism through the digital media. Is paywall a good strategy? No, I think the paywall is not a good strategy. What they should do is they should have everything available free, and they should make more readers come to their websites more often, and also stay for a longer time. In that way, they will increase the online advertisement revenue, and it's very convenient for the users. So I think the paywall system is not a good strategy. In the long run, they should go with a free website for everybody. So it might look like it's working for anyone who is very familiar with the New York Times. They've been reading the printed paper for a long time, so they would like to have some access to their website. Will go for the paywall. But when you think about the new young generation who doesn't care what New York Times is, all they care is about the news, what is happening around in the Financial Times or what's happening around the world. So they don't care where they get the information from, New York Times or elsewhere on the internet. So if we get any news on the internet free, that's where they go. But if you want to pay, they are not going to. There might be some loyal New York Times customers who might be paying for a while until more free stuff are available on the internet, and even they might switch to the free ones. So my guess is the paywall is not a good strategy.